The following is a Hennessy Hendo production. It includes excerpts and material from my vast collection of books and general knowledge. My collection spans many centuries and millennia. I upload as I have time, but the sheer volume is just so immense. It would do the people of the world good to listen to some actual classics or educate themselves on all manner of topics from fictional books to philosophy. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel.
The Panopticon, a term coined by the English philosopher and social theorist Jeremy Bentham in the late 18th century, is a conceptual design for a prison. The design embodies principles of surveillance and control, where power is exercised through the perception of constant observation. 1. Structural design. The Panopticon is characterized by a circular interior building. Cells are arranged in a circle around a central observation tower. Visibility. Each cell is backlit, making its interior fully visible from the central tower. Opaque central tower. The observers in the tower can see into any cell at any time, but the prisoners cannot see the observers. Isolation of inmates. Prisoners are isolated from each other, preventing communication and collective action. 2. Philosophical principles. Surveillance as control. The Panopticon embodies the idea of power through surveillance. The inmates' awareness of potential observation compels them to self-regulate their behavior. Asymmetry of power. Observation is one way. Observers exercise authority without prisoners knowing when they are being watched. Automated and dehumanized power. The Panopticon reduces the need for direct intervention by creating a psychological effect that aligns behavior with the rules. 3. Bentham's intentions. Efficiency. The Panopticon was intended to minimize the costs of supervision and maximize control over inmates. Utility. Bentham believed this model could be applied to not just prisons, but schools, hospitals, and other institutions requiring oversight. 4. Modern interpretations. The Panopticon has transcended its architectural origins and become a metaphor for modern surveillance and societal power dynamics. Key thinkers, like Michel Foucault, expanded on the concept, particularly in his seminal work, Discipline and Punish: The Birth of the Prison. Disciplinary society. Foucault argued that the Panopticon represents a broader shift toward societal control through surveillance, discipline, and normalization. Internalized surveillance. The psychological impact of the Panopticon extends to modern contexts, where individuals regulate their behavior due to the perception of being watched, for example, CCTV, digital monitoring. Power dynamics. The model illustrates how power can be exercised through the architecture of institutions and the organization of space. 5. Critiques and ethical implications. Loss of privacy. The Panopticon is often critiqued as an invasion of personal privacy, reducing individuals to subjects of control. Psychological effects. Constant awareness of surveillance can lead to stress, anxiety, and a diminished sense of autonomy. Inequality of power. The system creates a sharp divide between the observer and the observed, perpetuating authoritarian dynamics. 6. Contemporary relevance. The Panopticon remains relevant in analyzing digital surveillance. Modern technologies like social media, smartphones, and government surveillance systems reflect panoptic principles. Workplace monitoring. Employee tracking tools create environments where workers feel perpetually observed. Smart cities. Urban planning incorporating constant monitoring raises questions about autonomy and consent. The age of surveillance capitalism, a concept introduced by scholar Shoshana Zuboff in her 2019 book of the same name, describes a new economic order that leverages pervasive digital surveillance to generate profit. This model focuses on extracting, analyzing, and monetizing data from individuals, often without their explicit consent. Definition of surveillance capitalism. Surveillance capitalism refers to an economic system in which personal data is commodified. Companies use digital platforms to track and collect behavioral data from users. This data is transformed into predictive insights and used to influence user behavior for profit. Key players in this system include tech giants like Google, Facebook, Amazon, and other platforms that dominate the digital economy. Origins and development. Shift from service to data extraction. The term traces back to the early 2000s when companies like Google realized the potential of user data for advertising revenue. Behavioral surplus. Zuboff identifies behavioral surplus as the excess data collected from users that goes beyond what is required for service functionality. This surplus is sold or used to refine predictive algorithms. Expansion to other sectors. Surveillance capitalism has expanded beyond tech platforms to industries like retail, healthcare, insurance, and even urban planning, for example, smart cities. Key mechanisms: data extraction, surveillance technologies, for example, cookies, apps, IoT devices, constantly monitor users to gather vast amounts of data. Predictive analytics. Algorithms analyze this data to predict future behaviors, preferences, and decisions. Behavioral modification. Platforms use targeted advertising, nudges, and other strategies to influence consumer choices and actions. Characteristics of surveillance capitalism. Ubiquitous surveillance. Data collection occurs across digital platforms, physical environments, smart devices, and public spaces, CCTV, facial recognition. Asymmetry of knowledge. Companies know more about individuals than individuals know about themselves, creating a power imbalance. Lack of transparency. Users are often unaware of the extent of data collection and its uses. Commodification of privacy. Privacy becomes a luxury that is often compromised in exchange for access to digital services. Social and ethical implications. Erosion of privacy. Constant data collection undermines the ability of individuals to maintain personal boundaries. Behavioral control. The manipulation of choices raises concerns about free will and autonomy. Power imbalance. Surveillance capitalism consolidates power in a few tech companies, creating monopolies and reducing competition. Impact on democracy. Algorithms can amplify misinformation, polarize societies, and interfere in democratic processes, for example, election manipulation. Economic inequality. Only a small number of companies profit from data extraction, exacerbating wealth disparities. Resistance and regulation. Efforts to counter surveillance capitalism include privacy laws, General Data Protection Regulation (GDPR) in the EU, California Consumer Privacy Act (CCPA) in the U.S. Advocacy for Digital Rights. Groups like the Electronic Frontier Foundation (EFF) and Privacy International push for stronger user protections. Alternative models. Proposals for decentralized platforms, ethical AI, and user-owned data models aim to disrupt the dominance of surveillance-driven systems. Key insights from Zuboff's analysis. Economic logic. Zuboff argues that surveillance capitalism is distinct from traditional capitalism because it monetizes human experience rather than physical labor or resources. Instrumentarian power. This is the ability of companies to shape behavior at scale without the need for overt coercion. Moral hazard. Zuboff warns that surveillance capitalism undermines societal norms and democratic institutions by prioritizing profit over public interest. Contemporary relevance. Surveillance capitalism is increasingly relevant in debates about AI and big data. Technologies like generative AI and machine learning rely on vast data sets, often derived from user activity. Social media and mental health. Platforms use addictive designs to maximize engagement, sometimes at the cost of mental well-being. Smart cities and IoT. The spread of interconnected devices raises new questions about consent and data ownership. Conclusion. The Panopticon is more than an architectural model, it is a framework for understanding surveillance, power, and societal control. While initially proposed as a tool for reform and efficiency, its ethical implications and potential for abuse have sparked enduring debates about the balance between security and freedom. In the modern era, it serves as a powerful metaphor for examining the pervasive nature of surveillance and its effects on human behavior.
Thank you for watching. Please share the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Check out other series including 10-minute synopses or complete audiobooks on Hennessy Hendo on YouTube. Improve your vocabulary. Be more fun at parties. Increase your knowledge. Become a literary master like Hendo.